Afternoon, everyone. I hope you're all doing well. The sun peeked out behind the clouds today. The overcast went away. We've had a few days of stormy weather, and so I figured I'd get outside and enjoy nature a little bit on my back porch. But I want to thank you for joining me today. I want to talk about the source of our misaligned expectations. This happens. Misaligned expectations take place. We talked about them this past Sunday. That doubt, things like doubt and fear and all of that, they actually reveal misaligned expectations. And if we go a step further, misaligned expectations actually can reveal something going on with our heart. That our heart is more vested in anything else besides Yahweh. So besides the Lord, what this actually is we talk about this. We call it idolatry. It's and this Sunday we're actually going to talk about idolatry a little bit more, but it's essentially any good thing. We could take any good thing, and there are plenty of good things in the world, but when we make them ultimate things, that is how we develop an idol. And so at all of these points in Moses' story, we see Yahweh actually the Lord consistently defying Moses' expectations. And the reason that happens is because Moses' heart, it was vested in other places. Moses had put his heart in other places. Initially, he had this control idol where he wanted to define his own timeline, and then he had all of these ways that he was going to make his own rules for how he should accomplish things, and all of that. Like the situation takes place, and his expectations get defied, right? And then later on, he's in Midian for 40 years. He is living this really comfortable life, and we see that actually Yahweh unveils this idol of comfort that Moses has, because Moses just expects when he goes to Pharaoh that everything's going to be easy, that it should all just work out, and it doesn't all just work out immediately like he thinks it will. And so he goes blaming God, doubting God, and all of that comes from his misaligned expectations. And so all of this, these misaligned expectations, they reveal these heart idols. And church, I think we actually really need to be on top of getting rid of these idols, tearing these idols down in our hearts during this time, because we're in the midst of this pandemic, and it feels like the shelter in place is the crisis. And I want to tell you that the shelter in place is not the crisis. The shelter in place is the beginning of the crisis. The crisis that's going to come after this, not only are you going to have people grieving the loss of loved ones, not only is the spread of this virus not done yet, and I don't say any of that to make you scared. I just want to talk realistically. But the impact of this, there's going to be an economic impact to this. I wouldn't be surprised if there were businesses that we really thought were going to do well that we're going to see close as a result of this. And so all of this, it's going to be, the impact is going to be far-reaching. The shelter in place is not the only place where the impact comes in. I say all of that to say, on the other side of this, the church will need to be the church. Alliance Bible Church, we will need to be the church. And what is our purpose? Our purpose is we are working together to restore hope to all people. Like there's going to be a sense of where is hope in this season, and we, church, we are going to have an opportunity to restore hope in that situation, actually point people to a God who brings hope. So if that's the case, if we're actually going to fulfill that purpose, we need to take advantage of the time that we have right now to start to root out the source of our misaligned expectations. So what do you do with all that? I just want you to do one thing. Only one thing. I want you to think through and pray through this question. So here's the question. Are you ready? All right, here it comes. If I only had blank, you're going to have to fill in the blank in a little bit, but if I only had blank, or because I have blank, so what fits in the blank, I'll tell you in just a second. So if I only had blank, or because I have blank, my life has meaning and value and purpose. So how do you fill in the blank? If I only had blank, or because I have blank, my life has meaning and value and purpose. How do you fill in the blank? And I'm not just saying, like, you may not be able to answer that question immediately. You may need to dig deeper into that question. And as you dig deeper into that question, that, however you fill in that blank, that thing is your idol. That thing is the source of your unmet expectations. And that's going to help you to reveal that. It's going to help you to say, okay, now that you know that that's what it is, it's going to give you an opportunity. It's going to give you an opportunity to take it to Jesus. Now, this idol, it's going to make you work for its satisfaction. You are working all the time to get what it has to give you. But now you get an opportunity to take it to Jesus. And this is what Jesus says to those idols who cast this heavy burden on us. This is what Jesus says. As we understand that idol, as we get to come to terms with that's what actually is in our hearts, Jesus says, "Come to me, all who labor and are heavy laden, and I will give you rest. Take my yoke upon you and learn from me, for I am gentle and lowly in heart, and you will find rest for your souls. For my yoke is easy and my burden is light." So, Alliance Bible Church, we have an opportunity to discover what is in our hearts. And I have an opportunity now in this time, and the Lord has been revealing it to me in this season, what is going on in my heart. And then we have an opportunity to lay it down at the feet of our Savior, who graciously extends to us his burden, which is easy and light. And so Alliance Bible Church, I just use the season for what it's worth. If I only had blank, or because I have blank, my life has meaning and value and purpose. How do you fill in the blank? What is the source of your misaligned expectations? Alliance Bible Church, thanks for listening today, and I look forward to joining you all again tomorrow.